It is Qui-Gon Jinn Tuesday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This evening, let's play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. Now, don't be shy. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. I just had spicy beans and rice, so my throat is delightfully lubricated right now. Yippee! For I am the proud owner of chronic postnasal drip, which makes me talk like an FM DJ. Let us begin with the first of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 and you get 96. 1, 2, 3, oopsie, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 12 inhalations each. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets, you guessed it, of 12 inhalations each. To keep track of this first phase, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. Come, let us demystify enlightenment itself. What if enlightenment was nothing more than the mastery of Gautama Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? Mastery of anything, whether it's tying our shoes or brushing our teeth or riding a bike, means that we got so good at it that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. So here's the wild thing. Play with mindfulness and meditation at least once every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two you could notice that you've mastered all the facets of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Let us view mindfulness and meditation, therefore, through the lens of neuroscience after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Please chant with me. The nudity of the octuple couple sporting in tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. Since the Neolithic Revolution, society has conditioned us to be so rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel that we will actively denigrate the minority who strive to follow in the footsteps of Gautama the Buddha and be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. So when rigid and controlling folk address their students, they typically implore them to actively focus and actively analyze. And of course, they use all sorts of fancy synonyms. Now, the brain is funny. The only part of the brain that can really do that are the discrete pathways within either the medial or the dorsolateral regions of our prefrontal cortex. And when we tuck out our prefrontal cortex, our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety, gets triggered. Which is the opposite of what most of us want from meditation. I don't know of anybody who says, I need more anxiety. Give me that crankiness and plenty of it. No one ever. So here's the good news. Neither our amygdala nor our prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Yippee! Check this out. Let us focus on mindfulness for a bit. Forgive the pun. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what? We have evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like. Such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And it doesn't take us very long to recognize that of all these things that we can notice, some of them we desire, and some of them we dread. It also won't take us very long to notice that we tend to resist the absence of what we desire, as well as resist the presence of what we dread. Is there an easy way to practice this? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation. And you could gently nudge your cerebral cortex into cooperation with your sympathetic nervous system, which I think is pretty cool. Let's touch on meditation in a very concise manner. When we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are prone to release not only what we noticed during our previous inhalation, we're also prone to release our resistance to the absence of what we desire, as well as release our resistance to the presence of that which we dread. So what does that mean? Does that mean we stop resisting? No, we're wired to do that. It's a survival mechanism. Then what does releasing look like? It looks like our choices and our utterances and our deeds being less controlled by that resistance. So right now, for a few minutes, together as a team, let us play with mindfulness and meditation. We come now to the second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we can advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, now in 3D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You OGs may remember Count Floyd on SCTV. Ooh, scary, eh, kids? So, if we multiply those 12 inhalations by 8, we get 96. That's where our left hand comes in. We count sets of 12 inhalations each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We keep track of this, our second phase, by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Please chant with me. The translucence of the Elgid Father and Mother depicted in paintings reminds us of meditation's experience of impermanence and non-graspability. Whoops, it looks like this is an opportunity to edit. Okay. Quick review. When we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we can't help but notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Let's take a deeper look at meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired by evolution to notice or to access our parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. I see a question. I will deal with it momentarily. So let's see here. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So as we relax into our exhalation and release that which we noticed during our previous inhalation, 2 things happen. 1, we have a experience of literal impermanence. Let's explore that. With a changing of the seasons, we see the impermanence of a year. With the waxing and then the waning of the moon, we see the impermanence of a month. With the rising and the setting of the sun, we see the impermanence of a day. With the swelling and the sinking of our chest, we feel the impermanence of a breath. Ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. Now let's explore non-graspability figuratively. As we relax into our let's go back over here. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation, well, that's weird, could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as powerful as it is relatable. So, we have to ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast, empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although it could be tantalizing to the eye, is rather non-graspable to the hand? So it's not the sky that is an illusion, but our experience of it being infinite. I live in fear that Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to kick down the door like the guy in the pitcher costume from a Kool-Aid commercial if I don't explain my physics-oriented figures of speech. So there you have it. The view of literal impermanence and figurative emptiness necessary to let go is the gift of playing with mindfulness and meditation. So now, oh yes, there's a question. Let's see what this bad boy says. I'm going to click button 8. See if that does it. Let's go over here. Do you believe humanity will soon elevate their vibration consciousness and regain their psychic telepathic abilities? That's an excellent question. So, I've got an annoying answer for you. To me, what matters most is that being slaves of our amygdala, being slaves of our anxiety and aggression, ends in tears. Whether it's through rape of the ecosystem, whether it's through genocide or jingoism or fascism, whether it is through sexism or racism or homophobia or transphobia or classism or exploitation. These things can, the root of this aberrant behavior is slavery to our fears and aggressions. Humanity has, the majority of healthy humans have the neurological wetware necessary to master the Buddha's Eightfold Path in as little as a week or two, which is wild. That's what I'd like. I'd like to see humanity take its next evolutionary step away from competition and cruelty and towards kindness and cooperation. That's my hope for humanity. That is my desire for my species. I hope you found that helpful. We come now to the third already? No, I think I forgot something. Yeah, let's practice. That's what I forgot to do. Come, let us practice together right now. I'm going to take a moment to adjust my legs. Ouch. So, allow me to share a thought with you. Oh, you're welcome, Dylan. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. So, here's the deal. I don't want to name names, but there is a famous, outspoken actor who's very excited about a form of meditation that's really concentration. And he's so enamored with spiritual sounding philosophy that it makes him kind of antisocial, and it kind of cuts himself off to the messages he could be getting from the inner guidance available to us in mindfulness and meditation. And that is not uncommon. Arguably one of the greatest Buddhist philosophers was the South Indian monk Nagarjuna. He taught of two truths, the conventional and the ultimate, mindfulness and meditation, that which we experience as we inhale and that which we experience as we exhale. Just as a bird cannot fly with just one wing, we cannot master the Buddha's teachings without both mindfulness and meditation, without both noticing and releasing. And yet, a newbie mistake is to get so excited about letting go that we refuse to notice. It's thinking it somehow makes us spiritual. There is a text known as the Vimalakirti Sutra. I prefer to describe it as the douchebag discourse, because that guy was insufferable. And mainly it's guys. Yet lots of young, stupid, enthusiastic men are like, I'm going to be just like Vimalakirti, nothing exists. Things exist. When I go for a walk every day, if I'm not mindful, I'll step in a big pile of something soft and stinky and warm that most certainly exists. So, we do not get brownie points by pretending things don't exist. We get brownie points by being vulnerable as we breathe in and relaxing as we breathe out. I remember this outspoken actor was with another actor, and they were at a coffee shop. And the food server comes by and refills their coffee and is very sweet and introduces herself, and the actor's friend attempts to address the food server by their first name, which is very polite and respectful. And then the actor who I'm referring to says, well, names aren't important in 100,000 years, so why bother now? And I'm sure he meant well. I'm sure he was trying to jar her into some analog of Satori, but no. People's needs are real. Societal norms are real. The things we choose and say and do have an effect on others. And if we're empathetic, and by the way, our empathy is an important barometer of our spiritual training. If we think we're too spiritual, we're considerate of others' feelings, even feelings that we don't understand, then as Bugs Bunny said to Daffy Duck, we've taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Now let us turn our attention to the third of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 breaths, we can advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply that by 8 and you've got 96. We can count 8 sets of 12 inhalations each on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To keep track of our third phase, we can rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger. Palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Please chant with me. The beauty of sky blue kuntu zong po and cloud white kuntu zong mo yum yum reminds us of the highest, love, spontaneous and uncontrived. So we've talked about earlier this evening that when we exhaust our prefrontal cortex, there we go, focusing and analyzing, it triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. However, when we rely upon our sympathetic nervous system to notice, when we rely upon our parasympathetic nervous system to release, not only does it calm the tyranny of our anxiety and aggression, but it stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, which here is marked to look like a fuchsia letter C. This bad boy has evolved to function as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which functions as the root of love and compassion. So, in other words, by playing with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, sets us up to practice, to make it easy for us to practice kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and for our commerce to be as cooperative as it is kind. You see, many years ago, the late Tukul Tandap insisted that it is impossible to concentrate or analyze ourselves into the highest state of love, but rather that the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived fruit of the mindfulness that we practice when we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, as well as the meditation that we practice when we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation. So I invite you to meditate with me now. If at any point you have a burning question about Buddhist chanting, meditation, or philosophy, please type your question immediately in the chat window, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. We come now to the fourth. Oh, see, I feel like I skipped something. Yes, I did. I guess not. Okay, here we go. Sometimes my head gets lost up my ass. We come now to the fourth and final phase of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 and you get 96. Therefore, we count 8 sets of 12 rounds each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could keep track of our fourth phase by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the crown region of our head. Oh, won't you please chant with me? The stability with which Kagbusam sits, and the abandon with which Cloudwhite Samanta Bandri sports, remind us of the effortless effort of centered spontaneity. Now, we've discussed that when we practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, and when we meditate by silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, our seat of empathy, thus impelling us towards kindness. But how are we to know what the kind thing to do is, how long to do it, when to do it, and for whom to do it? The more we practice mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, the more we will find that our choices and our utterances and our deeds flow from the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. No, not the scattered spontaneity we might experience after our fifth shot of espresso, but the centered spontaneity that is the effortless byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. Some might call that surfing or Buddha nature. Buddha nature is just a charming Iron Age way of describing the fact that in our central nervous system, we already have the components necessary for mindfulness and meditation and empathy. And by refraining from fighting them, but instead cooperating with them, life can work remarkably well. So now, let us practice this evening's final meditation together. I sincerely hope you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours or so, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.